Hey Aries, and welcome back to Deku Tarot. Long time no see. I know it's been a minute or more like a year, but we all had to do what we had to do to take care of ourselves and our mental and emotional health in 2020 and 2021. So I was just trying to do that, and here we are, back again. Almost on the cusp of 2022, which is just crazy to me. So Aries, let's get right into your reading because I feel like now is the right time to come back with readings and coming back to YouTube just because we're entering a really big new phase that's kind of starting this month. A lot of the astrology that has happened and is happening right now throughout November has really set the stage for not even just the next 6 months or so, but honestly for the next year and a half, 2 years. And we're going to be seeing a lot of what we do now kind of shaping and continuing to shape us as we move forward from here. So we're going with the Cosmic Tarot here by Norbert Loesch. I don't know, it's kind of a newer deck for me, so I've been using it for a lot of the readings. I hope that's not a problem. And we're probably also going to use the Gustav Klimt's deck. I know that a lot of you guys prefer that one. I find that my fire signs really go for that deck, and it's kind of funny. But we're going to use that as well. So, Aries, let's really talk a little bit about the astrology. If you see me looking down at any point, it's because I'm just like, peeking at my astrology notes over here because it is a lot and there is a lot to kind of talk about and keep track of here. So we have obviously had a lot of 8th house focus for you guys, especially for the Aries risings this month. And when I talk about the 8th house is really, that's where Scorpio is for you. So we've had Mars, we've had the Sun, we've had Mercury, all in this place that is very focused on these 8th house topics of, death, of other people's money, of a little bit deeper, a little bit darker, very intense kind of placements here. And that's kind of a natural place for that to be for you as well, and for Scorpio to naturally be. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, making bread, my timer went off, but it can sit a little longer, I think. Actually, let's just check that. Sorry about that, Aries. I had to go and do my little last step for the bread that I'm making. Because you know what? Venus moved into Virgo, and there are certain rules and structures that we just have to abide by if we want things to turn out the way we want them to. And that's something that is going to really color this season for you in a more serious light. It's really going to also cover or color your relationships in a more serious, more structured, long-term light than maybe you've ever done before. And it's going to be very different for you. Maybe not so much to you, but to everybody else around you. They might think, what's going on with you, Aries? You've never talked about things like this before. This really never seemed like it was something that you thought of. But the thing is, you have dreams about long-term commitments and marriage and things that maybe other signs and other people around you never thought that you would. You're like, that's not, everyone else is like, oh, that's not for you. That's kind of like above where you're at, right? Like that's a little bit more mature than what I'd expect of you, sweet Aries. But the thing is, in terms of love and in terms of our relationships, we have this thing going on in the background right now. Or actually, let me pull another card out before I even talk about it. It's like getting a feeling I need to pull something else out. The thing is, what you want is different than maybe what you thought you wanted all along. And maybe it's this person that's changed it. Maybe it's something else. But it's okay to want more. It's okay to become what you guys like to probably see as more of like the adult situation, more mature, like committed, marriage, things like that. I'm not saying that you guys are like opposed to that on any level, but the where you want to go for those of you that are single or those of you that are in a relationship, some of you are really thinking about going to the next level. And I think it has a lot to do with this internal longing for it's like, I don't want to say, it's like childhood dreams. It's like childhood type of dream situation. You feel very deeply attached to this energy, to this person. Again, I'm talking more about relationships, and if anyone's asking or a little confused when I talk about the houses and stuff like that, I'm talking more about Aries risings, also Aries sun, but when I get involved with the houses, it's usually because if you're an Aries rising, that's your first house, and then we move from there. So that's kind of where I'm situating this astrology from, if that makes sense. But the Seven of Swords shows there's something that, I don't know, I kind of get this feeling of like there is something that people don't know about you, but there's also a lot that you don't know about this. If that makes sense. That sounds like really strange, but you have these hidden fears. What I mean by that is you have this fear that and this is very Aries of you, and it falls very much into your energy, and I get your energy very much. I love you guys. People often think that I'm an Aries because I have Aries, Mars, and Mercury. I was told I was an Aries growing up, so I'm very akin and very aware, and I know your energy. I know where we're at, and I get that thing where we feel that we have to go for something right away. We get very excited, we get really into it, and our first house like selves are just like we're just going for it. We run at it without even thinking, without taking the time, without trying to understand why or what drives us towards that. And I think for a lot of you, you're running at this because in a very Aries way, if we don't get it now, and if I don't conquer this right now, then I might never conquer it, and it might get away from me. If I can't have this now and I can't conquer it in this moment immediately, then it will somehow leave. It will get away from me and I'll never get it. And I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be longing for this person for the rest of my life. It's like this very, like, it's coming from a place of need rather than want. So I would say watch for this thing that clicks inside you to, I'm not saying don't level up your relationships, don't consider commitment, don't consider marriage, but it's not something that has to be done in an instant or even within the next few months. This is stuff that I would say you need more time on to evaluate why you want to rush into this the way that you want to rush into it from the situation that you're rushing at it from. And I'm only saying this because other people will question these things too, will ask you these same questions, if not in a harsher, more poignant way that will really worry you and will actually wear on you and make you, stay up at night worrying and thinking about it, and maybe even taking that energy and directing it towards that other person in the partnership. So for those of you who are thinking about taking the relationship to the next level in a really huge way, like I'm talking like get like proposals, I'm talking about having kids, I'm talking about, moving in together, buying a house together, making really, really big moves, I would say this is not something you have to rush. This is not something you have to attack. It will still be there as an option. Do not rush yourself into that place, and do not let others' fears and worries get at you in that way, because yes, they have valid points. Let's just say that. They do have valid points, but you need to evaluate who you are now in regards of how they're perceiving you. They're seeing you as this Aries that they've always seen you as, whereas you have actually changed, you have grown, you have matured, you have become different. So it can come across in such a harsh way when people are just kind of being like, hey, Aries, like say we're gonna go on the thing of like, this is an Aries that wants to, you've been dating someone for a year, you want to propose. Like that's just like I don't know, that's just kind of with the cards that are coming up here. What I'm getting, it's more like relationship-y, like commitment type things. I'm not trying to be like super specific in this. Again, that won't apply to everybody or probably most of you, but say you've been in a relationship for a year, you want to propose. A lot of your friends and people around you might say, hey, do you really know this person well enough? Have you spent enough time with them? Have you guys even lived together? Have you done these things that will help you to make sure that this is the right person, the right relationship for you, and that you don't end up in a bad spot because you feel it's time to commit and you're feeling this intense like pressure and energy of like, if I don't do this, what if it never happens? And if I don't do this now and I don't do it in this way, then it's not going to happen in the way that I want it to. And that's really not the case, because like I said, you're going to be in this mode of like, people will say, again, because also you have to remember Mercury, and even now, like I think Mercury is still in Mercury moves into Sagittarius on the 24th. So yes, Mercury is still in Sagittarius, sorry, in Scorpio at this time. And that's a very, it's really like, the best way I can describe it is it's very blunt, it's very to the point, and it can be very harsh, whether it means to be or not. It can be like somebody saying, wow, those pants look shit, look like shit on you. Like, you don't fit into those clothes. That doesn't look good on you. And they might mean it from the perspective of like, don't buy that or don't go out in that because, you know, I just like gonna let you know so you don't have to like, you know, feel bad like later. Like, they might not mean it in the way that it is coming across. So there is a lot of energy like that. And for an Aries, that will like, that'll set you off, and you could run into issues even at the end of this month, because I know this is more of a mid-November reading, but I'm sure that you experienced some fights and discord and upsets with friends earlier on in the month, or just, you know, this discordant issue that needed to be put to rest, and it probably wasn't being communicated from both sides very gracefully or tactfully or maturely, but it was happening. So anyways, let's just like look at this thing a little bit more before I move on to some of these other cards on the table here, because I feel this relationship situation goes, it's more than just about relationships and love, because a lot of this has to do with how you perceive yourself and how you perceive yourself now as opposed to, say, the past. And I also do want to bring this up, and I keep forgetting to bring this up in like every video, but this is a very important thing to kind of sit with. We have Venus Venus has already moved into Capricorn, and we've kind of already brought that up here, yes. But it has just entered shadow on the same day as the eclipse and all that other insane stuff that happened around the 17th, 18th, 19th. So do put in the comments what the hell happened with you guys that day. I'm sure it was wild. I'm sure things happened. I'm sure there was some big breaks in the energy. I'm sure there was confrontations. And I'm sure that there was stuff that happened a lot with 8th house, 1st house kind of energy for you. So what you have to do with others, and money you might have owed people, even health issues coming up, sudden like health, like, you know, things that you have to pay or deal with. There was just a lot that happened right around then. So we have all this kind of energy, and we have Venus going retrograde for a very long time in Capricorn, in your 10th house of career, public eye, you know, how you are being perceived by other people, and how your career looks like to other people and, you know, the public. So we have all this kind of going on while that energy is kicking around in Venus for the next, I want to say it's till like April pretty much. Like, we got Venus and Capricorn and that 10th house stuff going on for quite a while, and it's just entered shadow. It's going to get slower and slower, retrograde, and it's going to be there for a minute. And the last time this happened was about, I think, end of 2013 into April of 2014. So if you can think back to what was going on then, a lot of these same themes are it's going to kind of, that same energy is going to come back around. Even maybe the same issues, the same focuses are going to come up again. So it's going to, again, like, have less to do with relationships and love, I think, for you guys, even though it will have this more structured, this desire for structure, for long-term, for stability, for security, for a lot of you, for taking relationships to like the highest level. And it's like, slow down. You don't have to do that right now. You also might not want to do that during a Venus retrograde, or make those decisions to do that during a Venus retrograde, because it will look different when you're on the other side. What you love, value, and appreciate and want for the long term is going to look a little different. And the rules and structures that you play by in the Venusian aspects of pleasure, relationships, things like that are going to, their rules and their structures, and really how, again, because Venus also relates to enjoyment and things that you are passionate about, career, all these things are going to be kicked up. So I would say don't get too attached to things within the next 2 months. Do be open to trying things differently, to doing things in new ways, and to not get stuck on this very Aries mindset of needing to get where you have this end goal of right now. It's not going to help you get there, and it's not going to be a process. It's going to come across as, how do I say this? Like, I don't want to say desperate. It's going to come across as it's like you're coming on too strong, or like you're doing this out of desperation in a way that is very like, like, like not, not the best. It's coming from a place of fear is really what I'm trying to say. Thank you, Moon card, for coming out and putting the words in my mouth. But you don't want to go at things that you want at this time. And I know I'm using the relationship thing and marriage and committing to something very big as a description, but that's the kind of things that you're going to be focused on. And those are going to be the kind of things that are coming up here, especially at the end of the month. And it's going to be about, are you going to let your fears run the show? Because yes, you have this energy that really wants to move forward in this new direction. You have this idea, you really want to do this. You want to put it out there, you want to say it. But with this kind of stuff surrounding it, I would really watch where it's coming from. This is coming, I think, for a lot of you, again, like I said, from a place of fear of not having, of fear of not eventually getting, of not believing it is actually meant for you unless you actually run at it full force, grab it by the neck and drag it down. It's like you can't suplex this relationship, this situation, this commitment. You have to let this come naturally, and you have to understand that even though it might seem like the right thing and do all the right whatever, it's not the right time. Okay, it's great things to consider. It's great things to work through. It's great things to change your mindset on slowly over the next few months, but don't rush into big decisions and big urges to, like, I don't know, for some reason, I just feel like some of you guys, like, really just, like, want to, like, I want to get, like, we're going to get married. Like, I've been dating this person for 6 months, or I've been dating this person, it's this situation, so I'm going to propose to them now, and it's like, or like, I'm going to buy this house now. If I don't buy this now, then the market's going to crash and all this other stuff is going to happen and everything. It's like, think about what will happen after you buy this, and all that happens anyways, though. Just think about all of this in the way that, I don't want to say patience, because I know you guys are going to get mad if I say be patient, but this all requires more tact and understanding and letting this go till the right time, because you need to explore other options right now that you might not even know are coming. You have other options that, especially again, like I said, in terms of work, and I'm not just talking about relationship. Like, if you're with somebody and you want to be with them and make it work, I'm not saying jump out of your relationship and go see what else is out there. But you need to focus on more of the intricacies with this long-term plan and this big commitment, this big thing that you want to do this month that you are all fired up about doing. You have to go through this kind of stuff still, okay? You have the 8 of Cups, the 7 of Cups, and then the Emperor. You have to explore other possibilities. You also have to really look at, for a lot of you, I almost like feel like some of you are really looking at, like, where do you want to live? How do you, like where do you see yourself living? What do you see yourself doing? You're coming at this, you're just coming at this from, I don't want to say, again, like, I don't want to say you're reaching farther than you can jump, but work on your jump first. Work on why you're reaching there and why it needs to happen right now. Because again, I'm not saying this is like you don't deserve this isn't meant for you. It just, you have to do this thing where you need to let that go for now and look more into what is the really right path to get there. And emotionally, again, you have to look at all the drives behind all of this, okay? And it's going to put you in a much stronger position, because Sagittarius season is literally sharpening these arrows and setting them on fire and setting them in one direction. You will be clear in your direction, I feel, by the end of Sag season, because it will help you to direct where you're going. Because right now it's like you're running at this, but like in reality you have no idea which direction you're going in, and there's not really a plan behind this. So allow Sagittarius season to help you emotionally process really where this is all coming from, the urgency of it, because that's really not the issue. Like here, whatever you need this month, whatever you feel you must urgently rush at, you do not need to, okay? It almost behooves you to let these things go and know, and not even hope, but just to know that they are meant for you. It's happening, it's working, and to not be so worried about it not happening because you can't grab it and hold it and force it into the box that you want it to right now, okay? Your control will come back, but you have to almost like relinquish control to get it this month is what I'm getting. And like I said, don't snap when other people have things to say, and, you know, be like, hey, what about this? Because I mean, I will tell you, as an Aries, Mars, Mercury earlier in the month, when somebody told me the advice that I would eventually take later on in the month that I definitely needed to take, I was like, you don't know anything. You don't know me. Like, I'm doing fine, whatever. Like, this is good for me. Like, I'm doing great. This is a great idea. It was not. It was definitely not. But it took me a while, and to hear it in a different light later on, for it to finally sit and be like, oh, I see what they meant when they tried to bring this up, or somebody else tried to bring this up before. Oh, I see how I kind of did myself in there, and I self-sabotaged even though I felt I wasn't. And you don't want to put yourself in that position at this time, is really what I'm just trying to say. Because it's very easy to do that this month for you guys. So let's look a little bit more here, because there's a lot of focus, especially towards the end of the month, on more spiritual things about your beliefs. We have, with that eclipse that just happened, we're going to be starting this whole series of eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio in your second and, what is that? Second house, and that would be your 8th house. Yes, second and 8th house. Why can't I do numbers today? I'm so sorry. It's embarrassing. But yes, that's going to be a big focus in second and 8th house. That's money, and then also other people's money, death, endings, big things like that. And that's going to really shift you towards, you know, towards all of, you know, what we want to build, where we want to build money, what we're doing, like how to get our finances back in check. It's really going to help you focus on how to learn how to apply what you have learned better to these areas of your life, because we're going to be having you know, the nodes switch out of Sagittarius, where it's been in your 9th house, like really overhauling your beliefs, where you lie spiritually. And yeah, so that's going to be really you've been really learning how to apply these new beliefs, and these change beliefs that have been really shifting within you on a deeper level, on a more meta level, to where they will be as we enter this new season, or this new period. I think it's like 1.5 years, 2 years, where the nodes will be in Taurus and Scorpio. Okay, so we have a lot of really big stuff that's being set up at this time and in this energy. So do pay attention to what happened during this first eclipse. You know, maybe what this brought up for you. The release, like, you know, where it cleared things out, where it brought certain things to your attention, and the focuses and desires that kind of came from it. Because those will continue to grow and change over the next couple years. Whew. Oh boy. I feel like whenever I do your readings and Leo's readings, I'm like, the energy is a lot. But the energy is a lot this month because I just feel like this, like, there's just a lot of frustration. There's a lot of frustration and this desire to just like a lot of you actually, we'll get there. Let's talk about the dropping at the end. We'll talk about that at the end. I feel like that's the end. Those are the end cards right there. They scream it to me. I don't know exactly what they want to say, but not yet. Yeah, there's a lot of, there's really clear energy coming in. So I just want to let you guys know that. I know it's been kind of like, whatever. And then there's all that 7 of Cups energy and 8 of Cups energy. And it's been really putting you through this almost like tunnel. And again, that's Scorpio season. We've all been in the tube modulator of Scorpio season, where we've all kind of just been shot through this dark tube to the other side. And we're all coming out here in Sag season like, oh my God, what did I learn? What happened? Where's my stuff? Oh my God. Like, it's very that kind of energy. And what it's doing for you, though, is really making some very big things clear in your life. It's really putting a lot of clarity on what you got to end and what you're done with, especially in terms of, I think, of a lot of friendships. A lot of you guys are going to feel really done. And I also want to say this on the other spectrum, that people might get really irritated with you in terms of how you approach them and how you are as a friend this month. So just pay attention to why they might be frustrated. Because, I mean, I think Aries are wonderful people, great friends, love the energy. But sometimes, because we're first house, and when we go through stuff, we might not be thinking as much that other people are going through something. We might not be as understanding that other people have emotions that they process at different levels, different times, you know, at different lengths of time for them to work over things that maybe for us are really easy to get over and really easy to work through. So just, there will be frustration with friends, there will be conflict with them, is something that I'm getting. I don't see any like major dramatic endings of friendships and stuff like that, but there will be like some fights and some nitpicking because you won't like what they have to say when they have reality to throw in your face, or like advice for you, or, you know, just to check you a little bit and be like, hey, cool idea, let's talk about it, because I don't really understand where this is coming from, Aries. This is really nice, out of the blue. And just try to understand that, yes, they might not see you as a different person. They might not see all the transformation that you've been going through within, because, you know, we're having these nodes change and you're really finally feeling the whole, the culmination really of all this change and all this shifting that's been going on within. And you have a lot of like this new kind of energy that's very like, I know what makes me happy, I know what's emotionally satisfying and gratifying to me, and I know what I want to get it, and I know how I'm going to get it, and, you know, these are my beliefs, and this is where I've changed, and I see, you know, relationships and commitment in this way now. And it's a very good place for you to be in, but don't just boom at people with that, because it's going to be like shocking to a lot of people who have known you for a long time, for you to come at them with all these revelations and all this sudden clarity, even though it makes a lot of sense to you. Allow the clarity to sit for a minute, and you will be able to work with it a lot in Sagittarius season, yes. But just for, especially for the beginning of December, I would say let all this kind of let everything else that needs to come out drain out. Drain out the old, your old beliefs, who you were, how you want to represent yourself, how you view relationships, how you're working, and start to embrace this new. And that's really where this month ends you. And this is what I was talking about. This is the dropout, the Four of Pentacles. You will find yourself letting go of things that you have held on to for so long. For some of you, a lot of material possessions, clothes, wardrobe, I'm feeling for a lot of you. Like you want an overhaul on who you are and how you are going to be moving forward. So it's time to let things go and really clear things out. It's almost like an internal spring cleaning, but also I see you guys actually getting rid of a lot of things as well, and maybe even changing yourself physically. I know actually that in a couple hours I'm about to cut like all my hair off and go short again. So I don't know about you, but like as soon as Sag season hit and all like we went through all this stuff, I was like, we need to change, time to change it up, and I've been considering doing it for a while. So next time you guys see me, well, I'll have shorter hair again. But sometimes you gotta clear out the old and make room for the new. Okay, sometimes you have to allow new growth by, you know, chopping it right to the roots. Not that I'm going to do that. Don't worry. I'm not going to go shaved head or anything. I don't think that would be a look for me. But still, there's a lot to release here and a lot to open yourself up to. And the sun is like, especially with this Ace of Swords, there is such clear, powerful, known energy where we leave this month off, where you know and you have the energy and you have the clarity, you have it all, and you got this, and you're going forward, and it's success, baby. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And that's all coming, yeah. You just gotta be patient. You gotta work through releasing certain things and releasing the fears that are driving you to attack things in a now sense. And like, I need this now. We gotta make this happen now. You have to take a step back and look at the drives. What is driving you to do that? Fear of not having, fear of poverty, fear of not having money, fear of not having a relationship, fear of not having this stability, this security, this support of this other person. Whereas they're not going anywhere, and this doesn't need to be rushed. So, anyways, Aries. Let's pull, actually, why not? We'll do a power deck oracle card. I haven't been doing them for all the signs, so if you're cross-watching and I didn't do one for you, please don't get mad or jealous. I will try to remember to do them in all of them. Sometimes I just don't feel that they are needed. For Aries this month. Aries. Oh, I really love this one. It's a gorgeous one. Silence. Before making a decision of power, move into that place of silence and serenity deep within you. Sit anywhere. Close your eyes and follow your breath in and out. On the third inhalation, take the breath down into your belly and locate your place of power just below your navel. Visualize your place of power holding the golden sun, a disc of radiant brilliance within you. Observe the silence like a deer in the meadow. If you are in pain, use your consciousness to find where the pain lives within your body. Then move into that pain and beyond it until you find the source the sources of silence. In this silence lives your sacred witness, that which sees all and knows all and is all that you are. Power is born within silence. So yeah, you don't need to run and yell and scream and do all of these things this month. You don't need to make these moves. Power is born in silence and in patience and in time. And you don't need to have control over this to know that it's going exactly where you want it to go. You don't need to be insecure. All right? I love you guys so much. If you want to book a private reading, I'm only taking on a certain amount right now, so do email me first, and all the information on booking is below in the description box. Do remember to subscribe, guys, and follow me over on Instagram at DQ Tarot. I love you so much, Aries. It's so good to be back. Please leave me some comments below. I love hearing from you guys because I haven't heard from you in so long. And yeah, I'll see you in December. Namaste. Happy Sag season. We're back in fire, baby.